Hi, this is Érika from Small Robot Studio with a quick tutorial on Nomad Sculpt, a 3D sculpting app for tablet users. In this brush series, we'll take a look at the sculpting tools, learning how to customize them to get the most out of them. Today we are reviewing 5 tools: Move, Drag, Clay, Brush, and Smooth. We'll start by changing their position to a faster location. Let's go inside the interface menu and scroll down all the way to Tools Order. Tap on Edit and with the cross, take them to the location where you want them. If you are not worried about space in the screen, just tap on the Tools icon and it will show all the tools at the same time. Hey, make sure that you are subscribed with notifications on. Otherwise, you might be missing out on the many tutorials that we release for free each week here on YouTube. The first tool is Move. Anything within this circle will be selected and moved. This is the best brush to start a sculpt because it lets me plug in basic shapes. It will always be easier to adjust shapes with lower resolutions. On the left, we have a button that says Normal. This is a mode which will limit the movement to always be perpendicular to the center of my brush. This can be confusing if you are not familiar with normal vectors. I used to activate it by accident at first, so watch out for that. Drag, our second tool, is very similar to Move, except for 2 things. The area of influence of the Move tool is always the same. For drag, as I move away, it starts fading, leaving parts behind. Drag is great for pulling out shapes, even more so if dynamic topology is enabled, because it will update the mesh at the same time. Move is great for small adjustments. The second difference between Move and Drag is whether it affects everything inside the area of influence or only what's connected to the main mesh. Drag affects everything it touches. Move ignores what isn't connected. To change this, go to the stroke menu under this brush icon and scroll down to Connected Topology. Tool number 3 is Brush. By default, it will build volumes. Tap on the side icon that says Soup and it will push volumes down. The side sliders will control the size of the brush and the intensity of its action. It works the same for all the other tools. Open the stroke menu again. The first option on the top, World Space Radius, is inactive. This means the brush size will be relative to the zoom level. Whereas if I activate it, the size won't change when I zoom in or out. This option will affect all the other tools as well. If you are using a pressure-sensitive tool like an Apple Pencil, the brush will be affected by it. Tap on the pressure menu, the icon with the hand and pencil, and we can customize the pressure curve for the size of the brush and its intensity. If you tend to press your pencil a lot, these settings will help you avoid wrist injuries. Another way to modify the intensity is using the intensity multiplier inside the stroke menu. I use it, for example, when a stroke isn't deep enough even though the intensity is all the way up and I'm applying high pressure. Experiment to learn what suits you best. If you want no change of size or intensity at all, just go back to the menu and deactivate the checkboxes. If you're sculpting with your fingers, it might be annoying that you cannot see the strokes because your finger is covering them. For this, we have the stroke offset at the very bottom of the stroke menu. You can choose the distance between the pressure point and the actual stroke. Let's move on to tool number 4, Clay. This is very similar to Brush, but it's gonna leave lots of texture and it has no limit on the amount of volume it adds or removes. Inside the stroke menu, we have an option for accumulative stroke enabled for Clay, but it's disabled for Brush. I often deactivate it for Clay to control the size of the volumes I build up. The most important difference against Brush is when working with already sculpted details. Clay will destroy detail. Brush will do a better job changing volumes and keeping detail. Use Clay for early stages and Brush for later ones. To customize the Clay tool, open the stroke settings and look for alphas. Tap on the square to reveal the other options. Alphas are images that will define the shape of the brush. We'll go in more detail about them in another video. By default, Clay has a square. We can change it to a texture maybe for hair or skin pores. No alpha is also an option. Without an alpha, the tool will leave less textural strokes. You can find a quick access for changing alphas in the side buttons. By the way, up to February 2021, these settings cannot be saved, so after restarting the app, they will go back to their default state. We'll explore the rest of the menu on the upcoming videos, so I don't overwhelm you with many more information. Our last tool today is Smooth, for which we have a shortcut in the side buttons. Smooth makes an average of the surface, blending and softening edges. It's great for unifying shapes, and it works best with low-resolution meshes. Just as clay, it will destroy detail, so use it wisely. If you have high-density meshes and you're having trouble smoothing down, turn on dynamic topology. This way, the mesh will be simplified, giving you better results. Smooth has a relax mode we can enable with this side button. Relax will smooth the wireframe without changing the shape of the geometry. Alright, that's all we need to know for today. I'll see you soon for a new video. Happy sculpting! That's it for this tutorial. If you find it useful, make sure that you leave a like so other people can find it. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, as we are bringing out CG and illustration tutorials every week. Become a patron and access tutorial assets, bonus content, a private Discord, and more by clicking in the link below.